Hello and welcome, everyone. Welcome to episode, 133 of DevChatter. Greetings, hi, happy, Tuesday, everyone. Hope you are all doing well. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. As I mentioned a moment ago, this is DevChatter, that's the channel that we're in. Name suggests it's all about the discussion, so feel free to talk in the chat if you want. If you, however, don't want to chat, there is no requirement to do so. You are welcome to sit there and watch and observe. The stuff we've been working on here in the stream lately is related to a game that we are doing here in the on the channel, and the best way to describe it is for me to do this. Hang on one second while I bring it up. So for the past, handful of streams, we have been working on a little JavaScript game. Wheel spin. You should have been whispered with instructions for how to compete in the duel. Anyway, wheel spin, I'll explain that in a moment. So this is the game that we've been working on here in the chat. So on DevChatter, we have been working on this game that we call Wasteful. It is a zombie survival game. You'll notice that little gravestone right there. When I start moving in the game, head starts popping up, and then all of a sudden there's a zombie. I'm going to go ahead and grab this axe, and sadly that zombie is going to attack me as soon as I step into his way. So I killed the zombie, but it used up my axe, and then I can exit to the next level. And I get killed. So that's the basic game. Now, why is that interesting? Aside from the fact that just it's a game. So I was controlling that with my keyboard, but there's actually another way that we can control the game, and that is through the chat. So you can actually give commands to our bot that intercepts them and sends them down to that JavaScript game that's playing there. Now, on the stream, we're actually going to put that right there. That's why you'll notice I am scrolled down to the bottom. This is a full window, so let me go ahead and do this so you can see what I'm talking about. When I refresh this page, you'll notice that's down there on the bottom of a full screen resolution, because it's actually going to appear right there next to me, so that game can actually be played during the stream. So that is actually the goal, is that you guys will have a little game that you can play while the stream is going. I am so dead right now. There we go. Hey, Angry Carrot. Greetings. So that is what we have built so far. That little game, it's got a handful of items we can pick up that we can use for various purposes. We are set up to be able to have different types of monsters. You'll notice in the chat there that it reported back a number of points. Yeah, so wheel spin, that it really depends. So, Angry Carrot, there's a lot of stuff that goes into making it so that it can be extended. So, the code that we've got right now allows us to have a lot of different types of enemies, a lot of different types of items, and things like that. So we're fairly general in the way that the game works. It's not just a basic, oh yeah, the game works, It's not that. It's designed to be able to extend. So we want to improve the game. There we go. Problem solved. Okay. Let's take a look at our code. I don't know. I just banned him because he was kind of being a douche. So, let's see. Today, I want to actually wire up some of that communication. So you were commenting that I was dying on level 2 with 23 points. I want to fix that. That is our goal for today. We want to do something with that data. We don't just want to die on that level and do nothing else. So let's go ahead. First off, actually, I was going to fix the issue that you discovered. Hang on, dual command. If first argument equals null, return, return send help text. So we're just going to put that in real fast. That'll fix the bug you ran into. Yeah, you found an issue. You didn't actually notice you found it, but you did find one. Avoid dual command. It didn't really error, that's why, because we sort of handled the error and just logged it, and I noticed it get logged. Void dual command, null reference, when no opponent specified. There we go. You did not specify an opponent, that's why it died. Hey, welcome, Nikki Supra. Hey, Trank, welcome, welcome. Yes, Trank. See? Trank just, yeah, and Wheelspin, you guys, yeah, there are no reference exceptions right here that you guys are throwing. Good job. You have to specify your opponent. But now that that code's been fixed, I'm going to go ahead and do this. I'm going to attempt to kill the game. Well, it doesn't like dying. Let's just put it that way. Let me go ahead and start up the bot again. Okay, there it goes. There it goes. Hang on. It's starting up again. There you go. Alright, the bot is back in. At least it should be. Yep, there you go. Bot has rejoined the chat. Okay, there we go. Back up and running. Game over. Derp. Okay. So, looking at that, it spits back that information. So how does it send that information? It says, has died on level 3 with 49 points. The way that that happens is this. I committed, right? Yes, I did. Okay. And no, I wasn't going to send that bug fix through the right way. I was just going to send it through in here. So in order to make this work, what I need to do is I need to go to where that command actually happens. So let's go to the wasteful module, which is right here. And I am going to go to the game. No, not the game. We don't use the game yet. Move controller? No, oh, it's the hub. It's the hub. I am in the wrong place entirely. It's in here. Hey, Ori, welcome. Hope you had a good stream today. Oh, you're watching Venom. Nice. Sounds good. I have not seen it yet. It is on my list of things I want to watch. Okay, so looking at this wasteful hub. So this is the code that gets called by the JavaScript when you complete your game. So when you finish a game, we call this code from the JavaScript, and it does this. It calls game end right here. So this is the game ended code. So what we want to do is we need to store this in some way. So there's a couple of things we want to do. First off, we want to be able to show some kinds of high scores, something like that. So let's go ahead and work on that. First things first, wheel spin, so we're going to do model. This is going to be some kind of data, so we need a record. So let's call this a game, game end record. Wheel spin, I don't know what you're trying to do, man. I don't think it's gonna work. Alright, so this is going to be a data entity. And by doing that, this can now be stored in the database. So let's do string user ID. Yeah, user ID. String user, we'll say display name, because we're not normalizing the data quite enough. Nice, wheel spin. That is a bug we'll want to fix. So we need a date time that we'll call, sure, date time. What do we have? We have player name, end type, level number, and points. So int level number, int points. So that's the data that we want to get. We want to know who it was, what time it happened, how the game ended. So right now the only way for the game to end is in a death. We don't have an end game, we don't have a win condition, we don't have an incomplete, we don't have a give up, anything like that. So that's why I left this as a string for now. We might eventually turn this into some kind of an int, but today they're just deaths. So actually, since that's the only type, I'll leave it off and we'll add the column later. So that seems like a good approach. We'll say level number and points. Integers should work for those. They'll never be negative, but strongly typed systems don't always work well with using untyped integers. You run into a lot of problems when you try that, so we'll skip it for now. Okay, so next thing that we want to take a look at, we've created the model, so this is how we're going to store that data. Now we need to make the classes that are actually going to make this happen. So let's go ahead and add those. So we need inside of our EF, we're going to need some migrations set up, but before that, we're going to need to include this in our AppDB context. So we're using a concept called, like, we're kind of sort of using aggregates, even though we're not like diving straight into DDD on this project. We are using aggregates. So let's call this one game end record. Call it game end records. So now it wants to create some database tables for us. So Entity Framework is going to say, yeah, let's go ahead. Now when I try to migrate, it's going to say, hey, you're missing that table, and we'll be able to get that set up. So I'm going to go up here, say Tools, NuGet Package Manager Console, and figures these are not the same one. And GMO, hey, welcome. Thanks for following. And thanks for that host, by the way. Much appreciated. Hey, it's going well, GMO. Alright, so on this, we want to, first thing I want to do is test and make sure that we actually have no changes in our database. So I'm going to do, what is it, add migration test project, and my project is going to be this one. Now if you're wondering why I have to specify this, that is actually because I don't store the migration scripts in my web project. If you stored them in your web project, your startup project, it would find those automatically. But since I don't do that, I have to specify. Welcome, Evan T. Thanks for following. Much appreciated. I'm going to turn my music down a little bit. GMO, this is a Twitch bot, actually. So, oh, hang on. It can't build right now, so that it's trying to do the migration. It can't build because the bot is running, so that's why the build failed there. So these messages it's reporting here, it's saying that it can't... if you look at this, it says that it could not copy the files, so that's actually because I have the bot running, and the bot is holding on to all those files. So we're going to go ahead and kill the bot here for a moment, which I don't know if I don't know how well it's actually going to die. We'll find out. Ooh, it died nicely. Yes. Okay, good. It doesn't always die nicely. The bot sometimes likes to really, really stick around. Yeah, so GMO, the bot we're building actually lets us play games on top of the stream. Oh. You're new. Is this an app? Hey, Evan T, welcome. Glad you are here. The code we are doing right now, actually I think the bot is shutting down actively. Essentially, this is not a new project per se. We've been working on this one for a while, but we've been building a new piece to this app. When I say app, I just mean application. I don't mean like, you know, phone app or something like that. This is a web application that you can run locally on your computer. It really doesn't want to let go of that file, does it? Netcore, let go of my file. Oh, so you guys get to see the fun part. This is where I hunt down which process won't let go of those files. Ah, here we go. Kill that. Kill that. I found them. They tried to hide. So the project didn't want to die. Now it's dead. Okay. Let's try that again. So all I'm trying to do here, it builds the project, it takes all this data, it figures out what tables do I need, it looks at the existing database, it says, hey, This database has most of what I need, but it's missing a couple of tables and fills in the rest. It auto-generates the code for this. So now it creates this file. It's the one that it just loaded here for us to take a look at. And you'll see it's called test. Well, that's because I told it to name it test. I put that in here right here when I said add migration test. Now the reason I do that is because I always intend to throw away the first one, and you should always be willing to throw away code, especially the auto-generated kind, which is what this is. And I wanted to see what's it building, make sure I don't make any mistakes. If I spend the time thinking about a name and then see, oh, it didn't even do this, then I'm just wasting my effort. So I can see this created a table with probably, roughly speaking, the rows that I want, and there's nothing else sitting, and it's got a reasonable down migration. So this is the code that creates that new table for me. This is the code that would remove it if we wanted to lower down to a previous version. So I'm going to go ahead and delete those. And the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to hop over here. I'm going to grab those 3 files that auto-generated, and I'm going to discard all 3 of those files. So it undoes the changes, and the reason I want to do that is because 2 of those were creations of new files, and 1 was change of an existing file. So I want to make sure I get it back the way it was. Why did I want to build my own Twitch bot? Because I'm a programmer, and it is a really good example project to work on, GMO. Works nicely for all the chat to learn about all kinds of stuff together. So, yep, so it's done well, and we can create new games and things for it, so yeah, it's quite fun. Oh, you do Python, so there you go. You probably script Streamlabs bot and AnkBot pretty well then. I used to do Python a long time ago. Okay. Go ahead, and I'm gonna get rid of all the stuff that I was doing to hunt that down. Okay, so now let's go ahead and do that migration again, but this time, give it a good name. So we're gonna do add game end record table. So now when I see that, I'll be like, ah, that's the one that adds the game record table. Now for the most part, these don't matter that much. You usually don't go and dig into your migrations and find out what is in those. That is something that you know, a lot of people are like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do this all the time. It's like, you're not gonna do it all the time. You might do it, maybe, but probably not. If you do, something went wrong. Okay, so those got created. They should be about what I want. I'm gonna take a look. Yep, that looks right. That's the creation of a new table, and that's the creation of that same new table. Looks good. Next thing I want to do is have that actually do the migration. So I'm going to say update database, and that should actually run it against my database. And it says it's already applied, and that's actually an error with the message it replies back to me. Because when I run the project, which it sort of does a little bit, in order to do that, it actually applied the migration for me. Because I have a project set up to automatically do that. So this project runs its migrations right off the bat, so if there is one, it gets itself up to date so that I don't forget to when I'm on the stream. Okay, so now that table should exist, and I want to be able to store stuff in it. So I saw a couple of questions in chat. I will get to those, and I will read and answer those in 1 second. Let me go ahead and finish my thought here. So in order to store these, I need access to the database. And I do that by pulling in a repository. Now, before anybody gets scared and says, hey, I've heard repositories are bad. Some people have heard they're bad, some people have heard they're good, and I would say it depends on how and why you're using it. So we are using this to add a layer of abstraction between our code and the database in such a way that we still get pretty much the full power of our ORM and a lot of reusability. So I would use this basic structure even if this were baked all the way down into my ORM. Because I like the structure, we get a lot of reusability in how we filter our code, and we can use it in memory and for our database interactions. So that's why we're using this. So that's going to send the message. I want to record this as well. So let's go ahead and call a repository, say create, and we're going to make a new, what did I call it? Game end record. So we're going to make one of those, and that's what we're going to store in the database. And so then I want to say the game record is display name is player name, end type is level number is level number, points. Date time we're not going to set. I'm just going to have it be equals date time, and we're going to do UTC now, which really is kind of a cheat, to be honest. UTC storage. So first off, we should all be storing things either with a time zone included or as UTC, one or the other. You always need to have your time zone. So UTC is a time zone. What you should never do is store things in a time that's not UTC without a time zone specified. You will run into all kinds of errors. So, if no time zone specified, it better be UTC. And good evening, Ancient Coder, and welcome, Janiscu. Okay, so Evan T. You asked, what do I use now? Which is a question to what do I use now instead of Python? So, as I said, I used Python a long time ago. It was my primary language over a decade ago. Would have been like 13, 14 years ago. Python was my language. And I switched to C# being the primary language that I use, though I still use others. Python I use from time to time for little scripting things when it's required. And for a while I was using it as my prototyping language. So if I just wanted to spike something out, see if it worked, Python's a really good language for that. I've used Java on some projects. I have to use a lot of JavaScript. Pretty much all of us do. Okay, so that ought to create that. We create that new record right there. Level number, points. I put in player name. I need to make sure we get the user ID of the player as well, but I want to change how we do that. So let's make sure we get that value. What is my user ID? What's my user ID? What's my user ID? Hang on. Username, DevChatter. That's my user ID. Okay. I have a little tool that'll convert username into a user ID. So let me go back to our auto start. Auto start. If search parameter has auto start. Hang on, fixing my tabs. I messed them up recently. Okay, so ooh, I need to fix this code. Yeah. I just noticed it doesn't have I don't have semicolons on the ends of the lines on this. Very strange. Okay, so auto start true. Where was the next one? Nope. Params has auto start. Last mouse target canvas. Search params get name. Huh. So we stored player name. I'm thinking we want player info, not just their display name. I think we'll want to pass their user ID in here as well. So let's say display name is going to be that. And then user ID, we'll say url.search params get user ID. It's that closing curly and then that closing paren right there. Okay, so that gets us user ID and display name. And this will be how do we do an object one in this? I don't actually remember. So I'm gonna do this. Where did I put VS Code? I have that open, right? Good. There we go. Whoops. Let's save. So let's go ahead and open that up. So Wasteful.js is the one we were looking for right here. And if we scroll down, we can see start game. There we go. Word wrap on, please. Okay. User ID is that. Start game. So let's call this player info. At param. This is an object with it's a string player info. I don't remember how we're supposed to write that. Guess I could just say object, but I think I can specify the parameters. Alright, we're gonna ask the interwebs, because I don't remember the syntax for that. JS doc, param somebody, string somebody, yeah, no, more complex please. No, more complex please. It's not an objective array, it is... It's not a string or a string array. It is... Where is... Could just say object. Yeah, the type. The type. Here we go. There it is. Okay. That's the one I wanted. Alright, so when we go down here, so player info is going to be this, and that's player info. So we're going to say display name, string, and this one is user ID, string. So it looks like that. So that's how we say what player info is. We want to make sure that when someone calls this, they can see what they're supposed to be passing in. Player info is going to get assigned right over top of player name. We're going to change this from player name where else is it used? On the game end, and when we're searching for it. So it's appending it on if we reload. So if we hit R, it's going to reload with the same guy. So this one is fine to switch. It's the other ones that need to change. So this is dot display name. And then down at the last one, we were recreating based on this. We need to do this. So if it has name, user ID. So we want to make sure that both of those pass. Which means this is dot display name and this is dot user ID. So it's going to append those parameters on if we had them. And then the last change we need to make is in the creation of them. So we grabbed username and user ID, so it was right there. And player name, as I said, creation of it, it's underscore player info now. So I think that's much clearer what it is. So that is info about the player, not the player object, but who it is. So maybe user info? User info. Underscore user info. Info. There we go. Which means I'm going to rename this to user info as well. And it renamed our parameter there, so very nice. Good job, code. Okay, let's go ahead and do this. Yep, reload that, please. So Visual Studio is not as good about handling the JavaScript stuff. That's why I switched over to VS Code for that. But what I want to do is this. Let's go ahead and start up the project one more time. So I'm going to go ahead and start this. And I'm actually going to run it out of Visual Studio. And the reason I'm doing this... No! Do not block because of that. Liar! Oh, this one's legit. This one's legit. Alright. So we're going to do player name, string, user ID. Oh yeah, click clack. No, it normally isn't. That is one of only like 2 times of 133 streams that I've done where we've had a bad connection. So that is not the one I was looking for. Where's the JS one? Right here. So we are right here. We're gonna say player died. User info dot display name and user ID died, and that's the level. And we'll catch the error. Should be good now. Okay. Now it should not block us on ESLint, so much better. So when I call... Oh, last thing I need to do is I need to make sure that when I start the normal way that we get things fixed. And Janisku, thank you for showing everybody how to get the schedule of the stream. Much appreciated there. Wasteful start command right here. Because I added this new parameter, I need to make sure it actually gets passed down. So start game is going to pass more than just display name. We need to pass down a full object that has display name and user ID. So let's do this. Display name. And user ID. So when I add that, we're going to add that parameter. We're going to add a parameter like that. Now it didn't get the name quite right, but we're going to fix that. Because we just want user ID, we don't need chat user ID. Although I put that one in, so I guess we'll keep it that way. And I saw someone follow. Thank you for that. I will actually try to read your name in a moment. So give me 1 second to finish the piece I'm working on, and I will see who that was. But thank you all the same. Always appreciate new people joining the community. It is quite nice. Okay, I think I got all the pieces. We'll see if I missed anything. Just to be sure, I'm going to kill the bot so we can get a restart on that. ZXX Michael, welcome! Welcome, Michael. Glad you are here. Thank you very much for that follow. And yes, we have, yeah, this is a great point, Janisco. I do need to make sure that our caching did clear as it was supposed to. Untested on that, whether or not that has actually been done. Yeah, we'll find out. We'll find out. Hang on. Hang on. Here we go. Hitting the button. Hitting the button. It may not start right away, and the reason for that is you guys probably noticed at the beginning of the stream when oh, it did. There it goes. Okay, good. So we'll see if I got everything. I didn't debug this. I probably should have debugged this. Let me get the table up so we can see. Tables, where is it? Game end records. I probably should have said wasteful, but that's fine. So no records just yet. Level number. Level num. Okay, so here's our table. It has nothing in it right now. We're going to find out if this works because I am going to test it. Like so. We're going to test this the sort of correct way. I'm going to use mouse controls just to make it a little faster. So, but I want to start it from here. Make sure everything's wired up. Undefined! Oh no! I didn't get that piece. Okay. Overlay.js. See, I missed one piece. It's in the overlay.js because I forgot to get this one. Where's wasteful start? Wasteful start game, there it is. It receives display name and user ID, which it passes in to the start game as display name. Oh, actually I can just put them in there because it will infer them. Display name and user ID get passed in, and now it should work, and that should work from here. I shouldn't have to do a restart because that's just JavaScript. There we go. Okay, so it has the value. Excellent. So we have that in there. Let's go ahead and try to start this. So I have a baseball bat. Going to eat some pizza and get hurt and die. So there we go. Hey, click clack, nicely done. So I died on level 2 with 33 points, so the chat still went out, so that means I didn't break any of that part. Let's see, did we get the record in the database? We'll refresh that. Hey, look at that. There's my user ID. There's my display name. That's the time that I did it. 640, yep, that is UTC. There's the level number, and that's the number of points. So awesome. We now have this stuff storing in the database. Tested all the way through one time. Not automated on that piece, but we do not yet have the full system test in place for that, which we really should get. So store game records in database. So we'll go ahead and save that. We're going to get a lot of bad data at the beginning in our testing. So when I'm just testing stuff, we're going to have a lot of, like, there wasn't a user ID and there wasn't a display name because I didn't start the game the right way. It's going to happen. Okay, a couple of things. First off, those obstacles both make it hard to win and easier to win, depending on where they happen to land. Because you can actually get much better scores than what I just did in that playthrough. Where was I going? Okay. So over in this, let's take a look at our code. So we have items. Where do we have our items defined right now? We have them in level building item builder. So sprite width, height, z-index. Okay. These are the different types. These are the effects. So instant health upon eating a taco. You should also get points for that. Wait, did I not? Wait, hang on. I swear I committed that change. Did I not commit that change? I thought I changed up these values. Okay, so if we look at the exit item, it is an item with multiple effects. It's created in level. So here's the creation of the exit item. The exit tile is right there, and it is an array of item effects, and then it's an array of objects that have a symbol, that have symbol effect access like that. Okay. So let's do that. I'm going to jump back to the item builder. We're going to change up how this gets created. So health increases by 1 when you cross, when you pick up a taco, and you get 5 points for every taco you eat. We're going to say tacos are worth 2 health. Their item effect is both health and points. So we're going to do this. So tacos are worth health and points. We'll make pizza worth the most health, but not be worth any points. Health 3. So pizza will be very filling, taco will be worth some points, and the black can will be worth 15 points, but only 1 health. So there we go. So this item, in effect item, this parameter can actually take an array or a single item. This one always takes an array of effects. And these types need to match these types, because that's actually how it's going to obtain them. Atomic, hey, welcome. Welcome to the stream. Okay, so this is item inventory, and we need to change some things about it. So let me go ahead, I'm going to refresh the page, and I'm going to start again. So there's a sword for me. I'm going to get hit by the zombie. He can't actually follow me over there. and I get killed, because those two guys kill me. Atomic, hey, thank you for that follow, much appreciated. So I died on level 2 with 38 points. So it seems to work. And Rocket Code Creations, hey, sounds like probably a streamer. Welcome, Rocket. Okay, so let's take a look at our item class, of which we can have item types. So we had effect items, and then we have basic items. So let's go ahead and open up items, and oh, Atomic, you're also a streamer. Cool. What do you stream, Atomic? Tweaking item effects for taco for food. We'll say food. Gaming and coding games. Awesome, Atomic. That's cool. I do not yet do any gaming streaming on this account. Nike Supra. Nukes. Alright, I was going to open this up and take a look at constructor. Pickup type, effect types, uses. So that's durability on our weapons is the last parameter there. So let's go ahead and do this. Baseball bat. We'll say a baseball bat's a one-use item. Our axe is a two-use item. And then you'll get it stuck in a guy, I guess. And the sword will be a three-use item. So you can use the sword 3 times. The axe you can use twice. The baseball bat, you can only use that once. Basically, it's a wooden baseball bat. When you hit the zombie with it, it breaks. Let's see if that works as expected. I'm going to go ahead and refresh again. And we will W start. Figures, I get the baseball bat to begin with, huh? Oh, I'm getting hurt so bad there. Oh, I'm not actually going to make it to level 3. Okay. I might need to slow down the zombie spawning there. Marty. You have a concern about downloading drivers on your new laptop. I know nothing about downloading drivers onto laptops, Marty. It is possible that someone in my Discord does know. Which, speaking of, if anybody else is interested as well, there is a Discord over there. But that is pretty far off the topic for a programming stream. So sorry about that, Marty. So let's try that again. I'm gonna do this. Refresh. I want to try to get one of those other items just to see if our inventory is working. Nope. That sword was a one-use item. So okay, so no second use for that item. Okay. We'll say add extra uses to weapons. We'll say weapon data. Because I didn't really add the functionality. So let's go ahead and take a look at what happens when we use those. So item type weapon. So this is the symbol usage that we're looking for. So when we find an opponent, this needs to change. This name needs to change. We have it called onMove, but it's not really a move. It's like engaging a thing. So we know there's a target here, and so we're going to say, okay, get whatever's in this location, filter... why is word wrap not just on by default? Come on, man. So we know there's a target. We call this, when we're moving somewhere, the player movement. And we say, hey, there was a thing here, so let's get what's there. Let's find its attackable component. So we'll say what part of this is the code that says this thing can be attackable. We're going to grab that, store it here. Essentially, we're going to say if we have any. So if we found targets, what we want to do is we want to grab our weapons. So check our inventory, get items that are of type weapon. We're going to say used weapon equals false, weapon length. So weapon has to have a length, weapons 0, use. And then set the weapon usage to true. Then for each target, if we used the weapon, so we did use a weapon, so basically it's saying whether or not we used a weapon. It says if we didn't use a weapon, then the opponent attacks us, and either way we kill them. So let's do this. Let's change what get by item type means. Because I have a feeling get by item type is what's killing us. What am I looking for? There it is. No? Okay. Well, I tried. Inventory get by item type. This... Okay, so it gets us the items filtered out. What removes it from the set right now? I wonder. Use item? Is that the one? Weapon. Use. Ah, okay. Got it. So it uses the first one. So that's what we're doing right now. So that is going to be part of this. Use the item, remaining uses, event, remaining uses less than 0 return, apply effect, if there is an effect type, reduce the number of uses, and if it's less than that, then destroy it, and hang on, if pickup type is inventory, remove it from the inventory? That's not what we want to do. There's the problem. There's why we're dropping it. Item pickup type inventory. We don't want to do that. That's what we want to do in this case. Yeah, exactly. It is a Chatosaurus inventory right here. So there we go. So we're gonna say, what does destroy do? Destroy is part of item, I'm guessing, right? Should be item. Class entity. Entity destruction. Entity abstracts. Nope. Entity. Where are you? There you are. This must have destroy then. So it removes it from the entity manager, which again we only want to do if it's totally dead. Okay. That ought to work. Yeah. Super entity. Basically, yes. Okay, so that makes that change. So now that we've adjusted that, it should not destroy the item and should not remove it from our inventory until it's actually used up. So let's go ahead and try this. So I should have 3 uses of this sword. 2 uses of the sword remain. And now 1 use. Oh no, it killed all the swords! Sword objects were the same, so there's a problem. We're gonna need to fix that. Also, I don't seem to be able to kill the gravestones. Janisku, yeah, we could use a lightsaber at some point, but that'd be a weird one. We would want to add in, like, reaching a special place, like getting into some science facility or something like that. So for anyone that didn't guess, our game we're building is a zombie apocalypse little survival game. And that's basically what this is. It's just zombie survival. It's kind of fun. We've got this. The goal of it is that you play it in the chat. So this will be only remove from inventory when only remove from inventory when no uses. Could need some grappling sticks to move oh yeah, Janisku, we might have a way of getting rid of moving barrels or something. There might be some level manipulation at some point. We don't need that much because the main goal of the game is to be a like a played during stream style game. So it does not need to be the most advanced game in the world. It just needs to be, you know, playable and fun, offer a little bit of a challenge to the viewers, things like that. So here's the problem. We created static data as this, we created all these objects. So this returns back this set of data that we're going to use. When we called this, we stored it in here. I don't want to do that, because we're not creating a new object each time then. So we need to say, hey, get one of a type, get me one of those. What is this? Deep copy object, right? That's a good term. How do I do that in JavaScript? I agree, Janisku. It is really cool. Whoops. Yep. I don't want the naive way of copying, thank you. Is we use to copy the values of all enumerable own properties from one or more objects to a target object. Ooh, I don't think that'll work for us. Clone object could work. Hey, Denty T, welcome. And hi, Ivy. Hi, Ivy, welcome. Yes, video's fixed. Yesterday, as I said, yesterday was a fluke. Stream's normally nice. No idea why it wasn't nice last time. So clone object. Or alternately, I could just make new ones every single time. So let's do this. So instead of item data, we're going to do that. Well, that was annoying. View. Word wrap. Okay. So that ought to get us new items every time. Let's take a look at what actually changed. So there it is. Instead of item data, we're calling that. Okay. So that'll create a new collection every time of whichever one I want. Mildly wasteful, I should pass in that parameter, but let's test it and just make sure that what I was trying to do is correct. We're going to do this. We're going to start up a game, wstart. Get us this, ooh, a sword, yes! Okay, where do I need to go? Gotta bump him. Ooh, I am so dead. There we go. And dead. Okay, so how far did I make it? It's going to tell us there in chat and store it in the database. So I got to level 4, I got 78 points. That's not bad. Seems like the code worked just fine. But I do want to test something just to be sure. So I have a baseball bat. Okay, well, bummer. I'm really trying to find a duplicate item. That's what I want. I want a duplicate item. Well, I guess what I could do is just remove the ones I don't want. I almost need like a button to shortcut me to the next level. You know, I've never gotten a level that didn't have an item. So it's probably working now. We'll assume it is. Have each level be a code that you can type in. Yeah, well, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give myself a little shortcut. I'm just going to give myself a button I can press to skip a level. So, in Wasteful, we're going to say... Hey, Sourceify, welcome. Ask your table lookup for that. So what? 90 is the one I'm looking for. 90. There we go. This is not going to be this.move player. This is going to be it's going to be what, exit? I will not update. So guess I could just call next. Exit item. Game level next. Yeah, okay. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna say, if you did this, so if I press that key, we're just going to jump to the next level. So in order to test this, I am going to, hey, well, welcome. We're going to go over here, we're going to refresh this page. And I want to do this. I'm going to pick up that sword. Jump to the next level. Jump to the next level. There's an axe. Pizza. There's an axe again. Kill that guy with my sword. There's a sword on the map. That's exactly what we wanted. So we step over next to this guy, kill him. The other sword is still there. Perfect. Okay, now I have 2 baseball bats. Ooh, it's still listing it as a 3rd item. That's weird that it's still drawing those. Okay, now inventory is gone. Okay, so if there is no inventory, it's totally gone. Okay, so there's a little bit of weirdness there. I hope you were all paying attention so you can see what it was that we were doing there. But that gives us a lot of information about how that's working. So that little shortcut we built for ourselves is super useful. Like, oh man, did that make checking that easy. We'll call this first off, fix the spacing. Allow level skipping in debug. That's right, everybody. I can now totally cheat as much as I want in my own game that I'm building. Woohoo! Okay. This is new instances of items when adding items. Very, very important to do that. Okay. So that is big. That is a nice, good change. I need to fix the way we create these. I want to pass in the type that we want to request, and we'll make it so that that just returns us back one. So instead of like filtering and saying, hey, pick a random one of these, I want to say, get one. So this, pick random one of those. I want to say like, create random item of type. So let's say, why don't we do that now? Create item of type. Item type. At param. Okay, so when we do this, we want to create a random one of these. So, this dot underscore create item of type item type. That we want to extract as a variable if it'll let us. This is not going to be called new local. This is going to be item types. Ooh, what did you do with my formatting? Ugh. VS Code. Aww. This isn't item types. This is just items. What am I smoking, everybody? So that's our new set of items. And I want to switch based on item type almost, or something like that. Philip, thank you for that suggestion. Hang on while I wait for a half an hour for VS Code to actually install this thing. I have no idea what's going on. Reload, there it is. Cool. Does it do okay even if I word wrap it? Or does it want to... doesn't want to do that for me, but... Control P. Doesn't seem to want to do it for me. Not sure what you're saying there, Philip. The, Oh, okay. This, Either way, let's take a look. So that is our items that we're going to create as this collection, and we're going to say pick random one. So this is still not exactly what we want, but slightly better. Because we want to be only making the objects that we're intending to use instead of making 6 objects every time we want 1. That is clearly wasteful, but we're going to want to fix it later. So let's confirm that everything's still good. Nope. No, we're definitely not getting items. No items for you. This, pick random, filter, return back the item. Get items for level. Oh, this is why. Now it should work. There's the item. Cheating. Need more zombies. Man, did they kill me there. Okay. Died on level 12 with 0 points. It's funny. So when you cheat, it doesn't give you points, which is good. All right, so create item of type when you are creating a level. We did not change the behavior at all, so this is refactoring. Refactor item creation. Okay. So we have all that working. That reports back. Let's go ahead and start creating some data regarding related to the players. So up here, we are recording back the data of the games that we've been playing here in the channel. So these are all me playing this game. So this is what, you know, our testing this afternoon has been getting us, is this set of data, which is not bad. That's a good starting point. We now need to start having some kind of, we'll say, ongoing game records. So let's go ahead and start looking at that. So first thing we want to do is I want to add in, inside of our wasteful module, a model object. Rather than just a record of the game being played, let's add in a wasteful. Let's add survivor. So a survivor is going to be one of us. So survivor is going to be a string. This is actually where we're going to have the user info rather than the other table. We were just setting that up for a default proof of concept. Xamarin Forms. I haven't messed with Xamarin Forms in quite a while, Pigeon Guided Missile, but I do know some people that know it very well, actually. Let's see, so Survivor. I want to create another class. We're going to call this Team. DevChatter.forms. No. We have a team. We're going to have a list of game end records. That'll be called, sure, game end records. So we need team now. Class team. So survivors are going to be members of teams. Teams are going to be data entities, as are survivors. So if you're wondering what we're doing here, I am going to start storing our players. So, could be Janiscu, could be. We might have dinos. We might have. We're probably not gonna have zombies. Team Zombie is the zombies, not us. So we'll figure out what those teams are gonna be. But yeah, I like your thinking. So names, members. Members will have game records, so we can calculate all that by that. Yeah, so, okay, we'll start here. That's probably good enough to get this going. So we've added 2 new classes. In order to make these work, we need to do this. Let's go to our Entity Framework project, and we're actually just going to add these in for now. So this will be Survivor, Team, Survivors, Teams. Okay. Team, game records, team, list, survivors, members. Seems right. This actually should be a new list of survivors, just so that doesn't break. And this should be a new list of game records, just so that doesn't break. That way we can immediately just add to them without having to worry about it falling apart. Do you know how to open a third-party app from Xamarin Forms? I do not know, Pigeon. I do not know. It has been a while since I have done much of anything with Xamarin Forms, at least a year, and no, I do not remember how to do that. That's one of those things that I would just Google for, and it's probably that's the kind of thing that there's probably a good article for. You should be able to find. Is standing more healthy, and doesn't it hurt after a while? Also, don't you have any signs of sickness? Yeah, so, so that's a comment about the fact that I am standing. So I am standing, by the way. I can, you know, like, blah, 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 right? I'm just standing. But the question is, do you get tired? Like, I am standing on a nice cushion, so it's actually not that bad on my legs and knees and everything. Whether it's healthy or not is debatable. But I actually like standing. It's much more comfortable for me. I can do this for a pretty good amount of time. Last week I think we did like an almost 6-hour stream, which I was standing for the entirety of. So it's not that bad. I don't mind standing. Okay, so we want to store that someone is on a team. So let's go ahead and make these tables first. So we added those. So let's go ahead and I'm just going to do an add migration. That's right behind my head. Sorry about that, everybody. Oh, is that going to work? Bot's running. This is probably going to fail because the bot's running, and that means that it can't build the project. Yeah, so see it's saying hello world there? The bot is trying not to die, so as this, like, kills its stuff, it's like I'm recreating the bot while it's trying to run, and it doesn't know what to do. Whoops. I did not mean to do that. Did not mean to do that. Did not mean to do that. So let's go over here. Everything's probably complaining because connection issues and such are going away. But that's fine. I don't know the cost of a lift-up desk. That mine's just a hand crank, which is not that bad. So, who knows? Either way, let's take a look at this. So, create... So it's adding foreign keys, so it is creating the table for... so it's adding a survivor ID column to the game records. That is a good point. It is correct. I forgot to remove something from the game records, which I should do. I'm going to delete all the game records that are there, since that's just my data right now. So that's why we're setting it up this way. So goodbye. Goodbye, data. Goodbye. You were nice while you lasted. Will it not kill these? Delete. There we go. Hey, data gone. Okay. So in our game records, I do not want these values. I want to have a foreign key to the survivor. So I want to have survivor, survivor, and get rid of those. So now we have a reference to who it was based on our system. So quite nice. Yeah, so electric desks for raising and lowering, that can get kind of expensive. I just use a hand crank. It works well enough. The funny thing being, I haven't lowered my standing desk in at least a year. So... actually, no! No. I actually stand while I game. Makes me way more active. So I do very well standing while I game. So I do game on my computer. Works pretty well that way too. Alright, so those changes I made here, that's the 3 database changes. I'm going to get rid of those. I think they're right now, so I'm actually going to give a name to this migration. Whoops. Hold that off again. My bad. Add survivor and team tables. Although I guess I do actually, so I guess you're right. I do use my desk primarily for I use my desk primarily for programming, but I can do gaming here. You've got a standing desk, but been too busy sitting on my Mac side to set it up. Oh, coated beard. Oh, come on. It's not that hard to set up. Survivor equals... No, it's not going to be new survivor. That's going to be survivor. We hide this. We need some more space for the code, everybody. We need more space for the code! More code space! Alright, so... this will be, for now, we're just going to do underscore repository dot single. And we're going to say we need a survivor policy to exist. So... policy. Let me go here. Where does this live? Not bad. Alright, so we're going to do this. Folder, specifications. This will be a survivor policy. This is going to derive from of type survivor. And this is where we get the reuse in our data access, our filtering logic. So if anyone hasn't seen how we have our specifications and policies set up, essentially the policy is what you call to get you the specification you're going to use for filtering. So this basically says we're going to encapsulate all filtering logic into these classes. So we can do this on in-memory collections, we can do this on database access, anything like that. We use the same filtering logic. So if you ever need to find one, you don't write, you know, the standard lambda expression. You instead say survivor policy dot by name or something like that. And so that becomes the way that you do it. So we make survivor policy public static survivor policy by name. The Revolution Gaming, yes, my primary job is a software developer. We'll say I have been doing software development professionally for a long time. About a decade ago, for example, I was a Microsoft MVP for ASP.NET Web Forms and MVC. Quite a while ago. So we'll say display name. And they actually renewed me a few times, but I am not currently a Microsoft MVP, though. I am friends with quite a few of them. Sitting up is hell. I have a massage sofa. Very nice, Willspoon. Very nice. Let's see. So I want to say new survivor policy. Return survivor policy. Survivor equals survivor dot display name equals display name. So that's if I need to look him up by display name only, we'll have it. But I don't intend that to be the main way that we get them. I think we're really going to want to look up by user ID most of the time. So we're going to say by user ID. So we'll say user ID, user ID. And notice, so if you're used to filtering in LINQ in C#, notice that I am doing that, but because I'm hiding this inside the policy, I don't have to put this code everywhere. I can just say by name. And so if we later decide that, you know, we need to say, oh, and like, you know, and survivor dot is active, right? And we need to add these kinds of checks, this kind of thing in there. All of a sudden it's kept encapsulated in here, and we don't have to go to every place where we might have accessed it and hope we catch them all. So that's the reason why we structure it this way. So there's by name, there's by user ID, and we might add some other ones later. So this will get us our user by that, our survivor by user ID. So let's go back to our hub. Sorry, let me get to the right place, and we're going to say survivor policy dot by user ID, and we're going to pass in the user ID, and that'll get us our survivor. And what I want to say is if survivor equals null, then that means new player. Why not make it so you get a function as an input so you can specify it on the goat? Oh, pigeon! We can, actually. That's what those are. And actually, it's not a function. Not exactly. So it is. Notice that what we're actually taking in is an expression of function of survivor of bool. So if we ever do need to take one on the fly like that, we could just do this or expose, you know, an accessor and say something like, you know, survivor policy custom, right? And then take in the expression of func of survivor of bool, right? And we could do that. Either way would work just fine. But the whole intention, yeah, exactly. So we are doing that. They are expressions, and you could pass them in. But we just don't because of the convenience of not doing it. So if you ever need to, you can immediately add yourself the ability to. But the goal is to try to avoid that so we don't spread those everywhere. Because you can also just create a new one of these. Like, oh yeah, we have this, it's a common scenario, okay, we'll do that. So, yeah. That's the point. And then the custom ones only end up in the ones that actually need it, so we don't expose it everywhere, because it's the idea of, in programming, a lot of times, so just a quick explanation to everybody, we say avoid something, so like, or prefer something. So we say prefer composition over inheritance, which means inheritance isn't bad. You can still do it, but when possible, you want to compose things instead of just using inheritance. So that's the type of code reuse we want. In this case, we're saying we want to prefer doing it with the by name, by user ID, etc. approach. So we make it so you have to try to use the other one. So how did I first learn programming? Well, first learning programming, I was just sort of hacking on stuff on my own as a kid. But then I started working on stuff, so I did some basic game programming as a kid, and then I started doing more and more programming. When I was in school, I did programs that would do all my homework, including showing all the work, so I basically just had to enter in my stuff and do that. My teachers were pretty good about that. They were like, hey, if you understand it well enough to program it into a computer, you understand it. And I agree with them. To be honest, you actually do need to understand things pretty well in order to program it into a computer, or a calculator, or anything like that. Did a lot of programming then in college, so I went to university, I went to computer science program. Most of the time there I spent working on custom projects of my own, and you can learn a lot doing that. So I would recommend it to people if you are interested, that you try to learn some kind of extra stuff if you're ever going to a school. Like, don't just learn what they teach you. Try to do extra things. Engage with your classmates. Learn what you can. You will be glad you did. So, let's see. Display name is going to be... You know what? I kind of want to give this a... constructor that just has... player name, user ID, display name and user ID. Whoops, it should be user ID. Did I not have that right over here? I don't. There we go, fixed. Okay, so now I need to have the default constructor still, and I'm going to put a little note here so no one gets rid of it. Required for EF. Because I like that a little better. Player name, user ID. Yeah, like, so I will say, the Revolution Gaming, if you are interested in learning about programming, I highly recommend it. There is a lot you can learn, a lot you can do with programming. In addition, speaking of which, if anyone in here is interested in learning to code, and maybe things I'm doing are complicated, or maybe you know someone that is interested in learning to code, my bot's not running. Hang on. I am rebooting my Learn to Code in C# series, so that's what I was trying to link there in the chat. Learn to Code in C# basically is my, teaching beginners how to code streams. So I have those over here. So if you follow that link, it'll take you here. You'll see some old episodes right there, and then this is the one you want. So you'll notice that date, November 1st, that is Thursday. And on Thursday, we're going to do the first episode of our rebooted Learn to Code series. I did this a bunch of months ago. I did 7 episodes where we basically did follow-along stuff for beginners, and the idea is we have everybody install VS Code, .NET Core SDK, and we just program in C# doing the basics. So we teach all the simple things, all the stuff that people need to do to start being a programmer, and then you can be unleashed to actually learn more stuff on your own. We did things like, there's the basics, learning stuff like you know, console output, input, things like that, dealing with variables. We learned about different types. We learned interfaces, abstract classes, all the various different types of loops, string manipulation, and all that kind of stuff. So very, very fun things that we did in our Learn to Code series. I am rebooting that. What we are doing differently this time is that I am going to have a guest on the stream. He does not know how to code already, and we are going to teach him on the stream. So he is basically going to be like one of the other students, except that you all get to watch him make mistakes. And I want to do that so that people don't feel worried about asking questions. So if you or anyone you know is interested in learning to code, please make sure that you check out our Learn to Code series, and you can tell them to click this Remind Me button here, and that will actually give you reminders that have that are not our regular streams. So this will give you just reminders about Learn to Code in C#. And Kixie and the Happy Potato, welcome, thank you for following. I'm hoping it's good, and if you are someone that already knows how to program, feel free to show up and help out the beginners, and be sure to tell people about this, because it really is useful for that person that wants to learn how to code and doesn't know how to get started. Okay, so back to this. So we're going to receive data when the game finishes, and we want to fetch the survivor object from the database. We're going to do that. If it's null, we're going to create it. Then we're going to come down here. We're going to create that game record, assign it to the survivor, which actually we could go the other way. No, we'll do it this way. Okay. Just had to think about that. I think that's the correct direction to go. The bot's running. Did I change the code since I started that? I don't remember. So here's what we're going to do just to be sure. I'm going to go ahead and exit that out. There are no survivors in the database just yet, so I will be the first one in when we go ahead and create this. I'm going to drop a breakpoint here. We're going to watch this happen. So we're going to start with debugging. Here we go. Whoops. Did not mean to do that. Didn't want that breakpoint either. I apparently left a couple of breakpoints in there. Alright, let's go ahead and steal this. So this will get us onto the page. There it is. So I now have a sword. Okay, game over. I have no money. I've got a few points, but not much. Okay, so it sends the message up here. We get that 15 points. DevChatter. There's my user ID. End type died. Level number 5. So we're gonna print that message out. So as soon as I step over this, you'll see that show up in chat. Right there, and there it is in chat. Yes, the So no. So we're using A star, but the zombies are not A star, and that is intentional. The zombies are supposed to be dumb. So I will show you that logic in a second there, so you can see how that works. All right, so I'm gonna look in the repository for this. Did this work? Oh, dang it! I didn't run it. Ah, derp. Hang on, everybody. Did I not run the code? Whoa. I didn't actually do it. Hang on. We have no we just tried to store it and there are no tables. Alright, let's take a look at it. Bot, stop trying to start. Okay, so we're getting rid of display name, and user ID from the game records table, and we're adding in survivor ID. We're creating a new table called teams. We're creating a new table called survivors. We're going to have survivor ID. Team ID is going to be a foreign key on the survivor. And then we're going to have a list of survivors. So, yep, referential restriction, add game end records, game end. Okay, that looks about right to me. So I'm going to go ahead and let that run. So we're going to go ahead and say update database. update database. And that should go ahead and do the update. It's going to say it did nothing, but it did them. And then once I've done that, now I can run this in debug mode, and we'll see what we get. So I forgot to actually add the tables to the database. Derp. Nice, easy thing to do. But now we'll go ahead and get this running, and jump back over to here. So there's our game. I'm gonna go pick up that bat. I need a weapon better than a bat. Come on. Oh, I can't get to that Pepsi. Game over. Okay, let's see what happens. Hey, Stoolpenner! Hello, welcome. Okay, so we get over here. We have that. We print out the message to the chat. We look for a survivor. There isn't one. So we come in here. We create a new survivor based on my user, my player, and my user ID. We create that. We come down here. We create a new game record. And user members are not guaranteed to be thread safe. Yeah. Derp. Go ahead and do this. Yeah, you guys forgot to spam the derp, because I derped it. I was asking whether I should do it this way, and I was like, yeah, I'll do it that way, and then I get that, and you're all like, yep, told you shouldn't do it that way. And I was like, yeah, I know. So we're gonna do this, and we're gonna say game and record. There we go. Now done the smart way. Let's see. Oh, Nikki Supra. Did you put a limit on the amount of hearts one may get? Yes, Nikki Supra, you're limited to 5 hearts. There is a max health on that. Rubik's. Also, hey Rubik's, welcome. Random question. How do you know you are in a good company? I will answer that in a moment. When you like yeah, Nikki Supra is correct. When you like to go to work, that's usually a good spot. Hello, Rubik's. What I do, just wanted to hear some opinions. Is generic repository a good practice or just a personal preference? A bit of both. So there, if done for the right reason, a generic repository, I had this discussion earlier, can be a good approach. I like the design of this. If you do a repository that is the standard one where you implement a new repository for each of the different types that you have, then I would say that that is not a good approach. So there's a lot of different ways of implementing a repository, and unless you make one that's fairly extensible, I would actually argue that you are better off just using your ORM directly. Even though that seems like it is dirty, it is going to add less complexity to your project overall. So yes, your statement is correct. There is something lost when you do it. Joshua Jeff, hello, welcome. Thank you for the follow. Welcome to the stream. And Acrylics, welcome as well. I see both of those came in there. Thank you and welcome to DevChatter. Hopefully you're all having a good start to your week. This is a Tuesday, right? Actually I realized there are a bunch of people in chat that may not have heard me mention this. You should check out our Discord. It is linked over there in the chat. That is a chat application where you and I and all the other developers here in the stream can chat when we're not streaming. Also, all the source code we do here on the project is out on GitHub, so if you want to check any of that out, check the link over there. Also, all these links are down below the video stream or whatever you've got. Very rogue message. Okay, so there was a question, 2 questions asked by the audience that I wanted to get back to. One of them, so first off, this should work again, but let me show you the AI for the zombies. Someone asked if our zombies were using A-star search pathfinding algorithm in order to find the player and kill him, because they're trying to kill the player. The short answer to that is no. No, they're not. The zombies specifically are not, because the zombies are kept dumb. So, here's what we do. Did I not add that in? I thought I added that in. Okay, so anyway, we have A-star pathfinding in our code. It is not actually right here. But what we are saying is, for any given moving object, we're saying move towards location, and we're saying if you're advanced, we are gonna give you A-star pathfinding. It's not in here right now. A-star pathfinding is in our code, but it's not right here. And then we're saying, if you're not advanced, we're just gonna be dumb and just say, hey, yeah, move in the direction of, you know, whatever the closest thing is. And essentially it just says, hey, walk towards someone. So the zombie goes and it bumps into some. It's like, bonk. And so that's the idea. It goes as close as it can to get to the player. It will not get to them a lot of times. So zombies are going to be dumb. We're going to have smarter enemies in the game as well, because we're going to allow you to drop in with some items. And some of our level progression is kind of bad. So right now, the number of enemies that start out on the screen is equal to the level number. So when you get to like level 5, 6, 7, there are way too many zombies on there to actually survive. So that progression's not right, but it gets us started playing the game. Additionally, right here, we are gonna, so when we have a more advanced mover, their movable component will be a smart one. So anything that can move on its own is either gonna be moving towards a location intelligently or stupidly. So that's the idea. You can copy, ooh, I love copy pasta, tastes good. Tastes good. Alright, so that is adding this concept in. Actually, I'm gonna not commit that. Commit that in a second. Okay, let me try this one more time. I'm gonna kill the bot. Goodbye, bot. You're dead. Hey, Wheatlaw, welcome. Yes, hi. The other question was asked by Rubik's, and that was how to tell if you're working in a good place. So, I have actually worked in organizations that, of people that know them, I've worked in some really good organizations, let's put it that way. I have not had to work in too many places that I would describe as toxic. Hang on. Is that totally dead? I hope that's totally dead. If not, I'm going to have to go track down the process and kill it. There we go. Alright, so the organizations that I have worked at that were really, really good have one significant thing about them. And that is that it was full of people that are passionate about programming. No, don't run away, don't run away. I said the word passionate, and what I do not mean is, I do not mean worked a bunch of overtime. We basically never worked overtime. It was extremely rare. And part of the reason for that is that we were a good organization. So the idea is that I've worked for a lot of companies that actually care about the employees, and the employees are usually people that are interested in the code. So they want to write good code. Does that mean that they're spending all their waking hours on code? No. But when they're there, when they're at the office, they want to do things well. They want to write better code. They want to improve. They want to do good stuff. So that is the idea. If you can be in an organization where your coworkers care, you are in a good place. can't figure out how to get there. There we go. Alright, well, here's where I die, everybody. Game over, right there. Okay. Have I ever worked for Google? No, Nakey Supra. I'm not a big fan of working for those big companies. I like working for smaller organizations that are full of passionate groups of people. However, I will say that Google is a place that probably has a good number of passionate people. But again, the significant thing to remember about a company the size of Google, Microsoft, etc., is that when you're in an organization like that, it's more going to matter what team you're on than the company. So, if you're on a team that's really passionate and good and doing a lot of interesting stuff, that's awesome. If you're not, then it's not as awesome. That's basically how it works. Don't get me wrong, there are problems. Wait, what? What the? What? 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 What did I just do? Alright, well, I'm gonna have to fix that. That's getting annoying. Which I'm not gonna mess with. So this is adding in, so adding survivor, adding in survivor team tables. Component. And while I'm here, one thing that kind of bugged me that I noticed, a pull request I took in, I wasn't super careful about something here. So I didn't check these. There we go. Semicolons added. Adding, missing, semicolons. JavaScript. Really should have a an actual like ESLint check on there that just makes sure that those are all right, so it can't even come in without it. But we don't have that yet, so for now I'm going to do that by hand. Okay. So that ought to work. Couple of things to mention while there are people here. Make sure to get the bot started before you try that, Brendan. Alright, so we're going to start up the bot in the window over here. Good job. Make sure to check out our Discord if you want to chat with me and anybody else outside of the stream. Okay. So that's that. That's that. Team, survivor. Let's see what ended up happening with our tables. We have survivor. View data. Did we create a survivor? No. Well, there's why it borked. That would explain the borking right there. Oh, it created a record for that, didn't it? So, game record. Yep, there it is. Delete. And delete. Sorry about the sounds there, everybody. Okay, so nuked. Work for Twitch. The Revolution Gaming. Why do you recommend working for Twitch? Not to say I wouldn't, but I wasn't planning on it. Oh, whoops. Yeah, we only a couple of ports to choose from. Yeah, I have no idea. I have no idea if Twitch is a good place to work for. I don't know their devs, so I haven't been able to talk to them. But one of the best ways to find that if an organization is good is talk with the devs. Seriously, just talk with the devs. You can usually find some good information about a place. Okay. Hug the Chatosaurus. Yes, exactly. Why is the margin so wide for the game in the browser? Nakey Super, you wondering, like, why is it down on the bottom of the screen? Is that what you're wondering? Why do I have to scroll so far to get to it? I will explain. I would be glad to. Let me check out the database, though, and see if we actually got a record or if it just errored. So there's our record. That's the level. Did it create the survivor? Or did I totally bork something? I totally borked something! What did I totally bork? Oh, man. I borked it. I borked it up something fierce. Let's see. Yeah, Wheatlaw and Janiscu are explaining. Okay, so... Oh, son of a... This is what happened. I didn't set the values. Oh my god, that is hilarious. I'm like, why is this not working? Why isn't it saving these? These should just be, like, this should just be working. Alright, there we go. And the Derp Award goes to... for biggest derp of the day. Game End Records, View Data. Delete that row. There we go. That's a derp. That's a derp. Survivors. Delete. There we go. Yeah. That was a derp right there. Major derp. I'm like, this code should work. This is easy stuff. Yes, I won the biggest derp award. Thanks, Nakey Supra. Okay, so, and Brendan didn't make it modular enough to have it on a minimal window in the browser. Wheatlaw, so the reason for that is that I don't want you to have to set up various different pieces on your page. So, the basic overlay I set up like that, which, yes, we could do it as a modular piece, and that it'd actually be really easy to add that as a modular piece at any point. So we could easily pull it out, but it's a toss-up. So there we go, scrolling down to this. Let's grab the bat. Kill some guys. Grab a nice can of, you know, whatever pop you want to drink. There we go. And Janiscu derped for us. Thanks, Janiscu. Nice derp. So I died on level 2 with 38 points. Now when I check out the records... Hey, Gareth, welcome. Welcome, welcome, Gareth and friends. Glad you are all here. Hopefully you've all been having a pretty good bit of F# today. Can we get some hype in the chat? Let's spam some of those emotes. I know we got a bunch of subs in here. So, subs, if you've got them, spam some of those dinosaurs to protect us on this raid. There we go. Team ID is null. We have display name, user ID. There we go. Perfect. Exactly what we want to have in there. There we go. Haven't looked at the code, but HTML would be 50% instead of 50 pixels. Not sure which thing you're talking about being 50% instead of 50 pixels there, Nakey Supra. Oh, to center the game. Oh, yeah, Nakey Supra. No. Yeah, so we're not trying to center it. We're putting it in a spot. Minxie Rose, thank you very much for that follow. Greatly appreciated. And if anybody is so inclined, Gareth is another person trying to start up streaming here. He's a good friend of ours. One of our viewers that is trying to get started streaming. So, link to his stuff over there in the chat. You are welcome. Good F# stuff. So we have that storing in the database. Let's make a team. Teams should be specific to our system, so let's make a page for it. Call this Fix My Derp. Fix the Survivor class. Rather than fix the derp. Okay, so here's what I want to build real fast. I want to make a page for setting up the game. We'll call this folder Wasteful. What did I do in there? So inside the Wasteful game, we're going to have teams. And for this, inside of teams, I am going to go ahead and add in a razor page. And we're going to say, make a set of CRUD. So if you are someone that uses .NET Core, this kind of thing, take a look at these templates. There's actually a really cool thing that these do. So I am going to pick out a model class. In this case, I'm going to pick the team. Team right there. That's our data context. We want to use our layout page, so let's go ahead and do this. I was thinking about a kata where the task is making an AI for a game. Wheatlaw, I love the idea. I do enjoy katas where you're supposed to implement a piece like an AI, something like that. They're very fun. So if you're thinking about doing that, that sounds awesome. Okay, so this should have actually just created the code for a basic set of CRUD. So that's actually what's so freaking cool right here. Is that when you do this, you get all the various files that you want. So let's go ahead and do this. I'm gonna close them. I don't need all those open. We should have games, wasteful, teams. That should exist. I might need to do this though. I'm not sure how much the app restarted, so I'm gonna restart just in case. So we're gonna say games, wasteful, teams, and there it is. So this page, you'll see we have no teams, and I can now create a team. And I think this will just work. Team name will be we'll say dinosaurs. Now we're going to create another team. We're going to call this one... Oh, they're not Team C Sharp and Team Java or Team F Sharp. We're not. That's not our teams. We're not picking teams based on languages. That's absurd. It's absurd. We're gonna have dinosaurs, humans, and JVM and .NET. JVM and .NET Core. Come on, come on. We use .NET Core here. Team Trex. We need another team. We need another team. Kangaroos. Yeah, we could do that. So I just want 3 teams to begin with, so that's a reasonable set. So we've got dinosaurs, humans, and kangaroos. There we go. Ooh, dragons. That'll be some good ones to add later. So we can keep a list of suggestions of teams. I do like the idea of a dragon team. It seems kind of unfair because a dragon's basically like a dinosaur but with wings. So that's like cheating, man. It's like flying dinosaurs. So dinosaurs, humans, kangaroos. Visual Studio, VS Code, and Emacs. Those you forgot VI. What about VI, man? Get Emacs but no VI. I never claimed not to cheat. Yes. Okay, so we have a basic set of teams. Clearly I need to join the dinosaurs. So what I'm gonna do is this. We're gonna need to make pages for those. So that's the basic ones of those. Let's do this. Well, alright, I'm gonna clean up these usings real fast. We're not gonna commit this right just yet. Where's GitHub? There it is. Add CRUD template pages for teams. Okay. So we'll send that up. That's the basic stuff for that. Let's go ahead and try starting this. Let me first off kill IIS because we're gonna go ahead and start this over from scratch. We're gonna restart the bot. No one wants to pick their choice. Janiscu and Ivy both taken random in the rock paper scissors game. So let me go ahead and do this. Rock paper scissors for you two. That one more time. Should work this time. The reason why it fails there is it is really taking forever to kill the bot. The bot doesn't like to die. It actually takes a while before it shuts down because it's got those background processes. So it tries to keep itself alive as long as it can. Kind of like a zombie. Just doesn't want to die. So it is going... Let me turn on the overlay. Overlay is on. You refresh it to be sure it's there. Okay. So there we go. Bot is back in. So someone type without the quotes. Someone type that command without the quotes. Whoever wants to be the first one in, just go ahead and type that. And then I want you to do me a favor once you have. So now, in your chat window, which is going to look something like this, go ahead and click on Rooms and go to the game room. And then you can use move up, move down, move left, move right. So, and everyone can actually, so you're not alone. So initial move will have you move up. So that should have done it. So there you go. So it's a little bit slow to play. Nakey Super, you can't start because we're in Wheatlaw's game. You'll notice that has the name Wheatlaw. Right down there, you'll see Wheatlaw. So that is the game. So we can all actually now play it if you want. And you'll see it at a bit of a delay, but you can always pass in those commands as you like, and that's how it works. So Wheatlaw killed a zombie. Yeah, attacking a zombie, you lose a hit point if you did not have an item. So you need to use a weapon or you get hurt while you do it. We're going to shrink the levels, so this is a little bit easier. We'll shrink the levels and we'll probably let you queue up some commands. So you'll do something like move right, 2 or something like that. So that you can tell it how far to the right you want to go. But that is the idea. Wheatlaw, no, there is not a possibility of having a level where you cannot reach the exit. Well, assuming you survive the zombies where you couldn't reach the exit. You can always reach the exit, and the reason why is that we did our A-star pathfinding search to check from the player to the exit that you can reach it. So it's only a valid configuration if there is a path from where the player starts to the exit. It might be full of zombies, so you might be guaranteed to die, but you can get there. There's no obstacle blocking you. So that's the idea. So now people can actually play this game in the chat, and we'll keep records of it. We're going to add people to different teams so that you can earn points for your team, and we will have high scores, rankings, and things like that are on the table to build. Now, a lot of people might be wondering, what does that have to do with like building my line of business application? And the short answer is they still have a lot of data and other things like that. So no matter what kind of app you're building, we're all still doing the same kind of stuff. So like, you guys might not have to worry about a game loop, for example, but everything else we do is pretty much the same between this and a business application. So it's kind of remarkable. Okay, so that works pretty well. Is there possible? So, a couple of things. First off, anybody that is in there, that is in the chat right now, make sure to check out our Discord. You can find a link over there in the chat or down below the stream. All the code we do here on this channel is out on GitHub, so go to github.com/devchatter, take a look at the code that we've got out there, and feel free to send us pull requests, anything like that. So if you take a look at that code, find something we need to be doing some way, make sure to get that to us. We'd really appreciate it. If you want to see archives of some of our old videos, you can find those here on Twitch in the videos section, or you can find them on YouTube at the link over there. So youtube.com/c/devchatter to find our YouTube videos. There's an archive going back for all of our videos, so keep in mind this is episode 133, so we've been doing this a while. There are a lot of videos to check out. If you want to follow me on Twitter, you can find me. I'm at Brendonius on Twitter. Or if you want to follow just DevChatter, I link to it over there in the chat. And it's DevChatter with an underscore on the end, so make sure you get that if you are going to follow DevChatter on Twitter. If you are someone that is interested in learning C# or you know someone that is interested in learning how to code, be sure to have them check out that event that I just linked over there. We're going to be doing our Learn to Code in C# series. We're rebooting that, so we're going to start again on Thursday from scratch. So if you know anyone that wants to learn how to code, I really, really recommend that you get them to attend on Thursday. We're actually going to start at noon on Eastern Time in the United States, so that is roughly speaking 4.5 hours before now is noon. So translate that to your time zone. And you can find the details for that. There's schedule down below, and you can also ask our schedule command, and you can pass it in a location. So, for example, I can get it to tell me in Eastern Daylight Time by just giving a location that's in Eastern Daylight Time, and it will return with that. So be sure to check that out if you have any interest in that at all. If you enjoyed the channel at all and enjoyed anything we streamed here today, be sure to hit that follow button to make sure you get notified when we go live next. And that is actually going to be on Thursday, so 2 days from now, we're going to be doing our next Learn to Code in C# episode. And then the next time to catch the stream is on Saturday. So we actually stream 4 times a week on Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. So we hope to see you here for all of those. And if not, we still hope you'll hang out some of the time. I want to make sure I thank everybody that got involved with the stream at all today, helped out with anything, chatted, whether you were just viewing, whether you were silent, doesn't matter. We're glad you were here. I want to thank our moderators, S&B, who just showed up, Stoolpenner, for hanging out. So thank you to our moderators, and thank you for these nice people that followed us today. Always appreciated. Hopefully you all love catching the stream in the future. We do live coding on here. Sometimes it's scripted tutorials, sometimes we talk about a specific topic, sometimes we just pair program with someone else through Visual Studio. Either way, we always try to make sure that it's fun and educational as well. So, I will see you all on Thursday. Have a great rest of your day. Happy coding, everyone, whether it's evening, afternoon, whatever amount of your day you've got left. Take care. Have a good one.